Alright, is it still jumping around? I don't think this is as bad. A little bit. Not real sure why it's doing that. But, let's start, when we go to the Satanic Bible, I first want to go ahead and get this out of the way. So, we are going to go to the obvious, most, what word am I thinking? Why can't I get that word in my head? Controversial. Controversial. It's a hard word to say right now. So the Black Mass, we don't really need to worry about that. It's called the Black Mass, really, is to just get under the skin of the Catholics. It's not like an evil mass. It's also not this sitting there and saying Bible verses backwards or the opposite. It's really not. It could be for someone if that's what they choose, but that seems a little immature to me. It's more about celebrating the uniqueness of being one of the fallen, rather than, you know, the people who follow the popularist concept of life and death. You know, we got to go to heaven, we got to pray, we have to, and if we don't, then we'll be punished. God is love, love is obedience, all the hypocrisy. We could go on and on, but we won't go into that. I'm not trying to put anyone down. Just calling things as what they are. So, human sacrifice, yes, that is a part in the Satanic Bible. Okay. Now, the use of a human sacrifice, I'm reading the book, in a satanic ritual does not imply that the sacrifice is slaughtered to appease the gods. Symbolically, the victim is destroyed through the working of a hex or curse, which in turn leads to the physical, mental, or emotional destruction of the sacrifice in ways and means not attributable to the magician. The only time a Satanist would perform a human sacrifice would be if it were to serve a twofold purpose, that being to release the magician's wrath and the throwing of a curse, and more important, to dispose of a totally obnoxious and deserving individual. Now, that alone, you're probably thinking, that just sounds stupid. He's being belligerently, you know, provocative. Yeah, it was intentional there. But let's read on. Now, there are sound and logical reasons why the Satanists could not perform such sacrifices, referring to animal sacrifices. The purest form of carnal existence reposes in the bodies of animals and human children who have not grown old enough to deny themselves their natural desires. They can perceive things that the average adult human can never hope to. Therefore, the Satanist holds these beings in sacred regard. Children, animals, sacred regard, knowing he can learn much from these natural magicians of the world. Natural magicians. In other words, he's saying children, their imaginations, their creativeness, their desire, their motivation. You know, when kids, you know, you ask a classroom of kids what they want to be. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a scientist. I want to be, you know, I want to own a zoo. You know, I want to go out and save the wildlife. And a kid will say, I want to help alcoholics and drug addicts. They go by like experience, and they just say, like, this is what I'm going to do. I want to help people who are depressed. I want to be a psychologist. I want to be a lawyer, represent people, defend people. Kids always have such high levels of goals naturally. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer. When I found out that I would have to defend people who were guilty, I was like, not really down with that. Now, let's get to the point here. So, yeah, let's finish this out. The Satanist does not hate himself nor the gods he might choose, and has no desire to destroy himself or anything for which he stands. That's with an exclamation mark. It is for this reason he could never willfully harm an animal or child. Never willfully harm an animal or child. Never. Ever in the practice of Satanism. He who then would be considered a fit and proper human sacrifice, who would be, the saying, would be fit, and how is one qualified to pass judgment on such a person? The answer is brutally simple. Anyone who has unjustly wronged you, one who has gone out of his or her way to hurt you, to deliberately cause trouble and hardship for you, or those dear to you. In short, a person asking to be cursed by their very own actions. So, what does this mean? To curse them. So, the ideal sacrifice may be emotionally insecure, but nonetheless can. And I don't know that word. His insecurity could cause severe damage to your tranquility or sound reputation, mental illness, nervous breakdown, maladjustment, anxiety, broken homes, sibling rivalry, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so many excuses he's saying for people who'd want to lash out. Anyone who says we must try to understand those who make life miserable for those undeserving of misery is aiding and embedding a social cancer. In other words, he is saying anyone who is saying those that make your life miserable, personally, are undeserving of misery, that's being ridiculously and ignorantly apologetic. So, he says here, the apologists for these rabid humans deserve any clobberings they get at the hands of their charges. We see people say this on YouTube every day. Worse than that. But they act like this book is so blasphemous. So, to destroy someone in ritual, we're talking of a destruction ritual, okay? I'm going to go to destruction ritual. That was the first key. Okay. 3 types of satanic ritual. Okay, so we're going to go right to, I don't want to confuse it. The 3 that are mentioned doesn't mean they are the only. Okay, but to sum up the 3, before you just go and get that away, the first of this ritual or curse, so to speak, would be concerning sex or lust. Take full advantage of spells and charms that work. If you are a man, plunge your erect member into her with yeah, he's speaking of some stuff I don't know. Delight. If you be a woman, open wide your loins in lewd anticipation. So what he's saying there is, in ritual, when it comes to concerning sex or lust, he made that quite graphic intentionally, because we know how serious religious people take sex. He wanted to make that provocative. If you desire someone, you have to earn it, okay? Magic in today's society is looked at as a tarot reader who tells you what's going to happen next week or next month, and that's not magic at all, no matter what they tell you. Magic is not doing a spell, a money spell, with a green candle and money pops up at your door within the next 7 days or within the next 3 days. No, that's not how it works. Magic, especially in the form of a spell or ritual, is to promote the confidence within us to achieve the goals in order to obtain the outcome we're looking for. So you also have a realistic way of pursuing this. In other words, if you're seeking a woman or a man who does not desire to be with you at all, and you're well aware of this, and you wish to alter their thoughts and desires and attraction to be attracted to you anyway, that won't work. There's no magic to do that. The magic of that is to come to your own understanding and realize that you need to find someone who actually wants to be with you, actually likes you. So, like I was saying, you have sex or lust, okay? And then you have compassion. Compassion be resolved that you'll have no regrets at the expense of the help that you have given others. So in other words, this would be something that you would do a ritual for someone who just deserves credibility, who deserves a shout out, as we would say online, someone who deserves respect, someone who deserves that to be put out into the universe, and for whoever's doing the ritual with you as well to hear about it, and to, someone who has donated to Riley Hospital, someone who has helped people in the crazy emergency field, the people who are out there, the medics every day, going from a drug overdose to a stabbing to a car accident to this constant chaos, and they serve us in times of need, but they take so much of that pain and weight on their shoulders. That would be a type of person I would do a compassion ritual for. And then you have the destruction. Okay? So, what is a destruction ritual? So a destruction ritual, I guess I'm going to have to read it out of here to make sure it's official. I want to just say in my own words so bad, but I want to find if he talked about it anywhere back here. I think he did. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Let's just go to all right. So let's get to destruction. Okay, so the third motivating force, he's talking about the three most obvious energies you would use in ritual. This is a ceremony used for anger, annoyance, disdain, contempt, or just plain hate. It is known as a hex, curse, or destroying agent. In other words, this is only hex. Obviously, a compassionate ritual or a love, sex ritual is not a hateful or spiteful, vengeful type of ritual. Only the destruction ritual. Okay. Now, one of the greatest of all fallacies about the practice of ritual magic is the notion that one must believe in the powers of magic before one can be harmed or destroyed by them. Nothing could be farther from the truth, as the most receptive victims of curses have always been the greatest scoffers. The reason is frighteningly simple. The uncivilized tribesman is the first to run to his nearest witch doctor or shaman when he feels a curse has been placed upon him by an enemy. The threat and presence of harm is with him consciously, and belief in the power of the curse is so strong that he will take every precaution against it. Thus, through the application of sympathetic magic, he will counteract any harm that might come his way. This man is watching his step and not taking any chances. Now, what he's saying here, okay? In many instances, the victim will deny any magical significance to his fate, even unto his dying gasp, although the magician is perfectly satisfied so long as his desired results occurred. It must be remembered that it matters not whether anyone attaches any significance to your working, so long as the results of the working are in accordance with your will. The magician will always explain a connection of the magical ritual to the end result as coincidence. So what he's saying is the person who doesn't believe in magic and ritualism will just say coincidence. We know that happens all the time. If someone's like, wow, this is like a weird thing, weird conspiracy, they say, oh, it's just probably a coincidence. But here's the thing. Whether magic is performed for constructive or destructive purposes, the success of the operation is dependent on the receptivity of the person who is to receive the blessing or curse. In the case of a sex or compassion ritual, it helps if the recipient has faith and believes in magic, but the victim of a hex or curse is much more prone to destruction if he does not believe in it. So, as long as man knows the meaning of fear, he will need the ways and means to defend himself against his fears. No one knows everything, and as long as there is wonder, there will always be an apprehension of the unknown, where there are potentially dangerous forces. Okay. So, why then should there be any doubt as to the destruction, or as to the destructive extremes of fear and terror? The so-called demons that have the power to destroy in a flesh-rending manner, theoretically, as much as a handful of nails long rusted away can create blood-dripping ecstasy in a person convinced he is hooked upon the cross of Calvary. Therefore, never attempt to convince the skeptic upon whom you wish to place a curse. Allow him to scoff. To enlighten him would lessen your chance of success. Listen with benign assurance as he laughs at your magic, knowing his days are filled with turmoil all the while. If he is despicable enough by Satan's grace, he might even die. It says laughing. Now, so you're probably saying, okay, well, what is this all about? Be certain you do not care if the intended victim lives or dies before you throw your curse on having caused their destruction. Revel rather than feel remorse. Now, heed well these rules, or in each case you will see a reversal of your desires, which will harm rather than help you. In other words, what does he mean? Heed well these rules, or in each case you will see a reversal of your desires of the curse. Why? Well, if you go to curse someone in ritual, which is all spiritual, mentally, emotionally, not going to the gas station where you know he's at and attacking him. That's not a destruction ritual. That's destruction, not destruction ritual. An example would be how my daughter's cousin, she was out here in the garage a while back, and there was a bunch of burnt pieces when I came back out. I thought, what is this? They're trying to catch the house on fire? And I asked, and she was burning a picture of her ex. Why? To destroy it from her memory. But if it would have been more of a curse, you let someone know. If you let someone know that you have cursed them, and they know that you've read the Satanic Bible alone, and you're just a rookie Satanist, it don't matter. They will become scared. They will start putting things together. It's getting in the head of your enemy. The reason it says to heed well to the rules of being certain that you do not care what happens. It's not saying be certain that you want your enemy that you're cursing to die. It's saying that if the enemy or whoever you're having a problem with that you curse does happen to die, coincidentally even, you shouldn't think, oh, I should have never done that curse. Now I'm responsible and I should have never done that and I regret it. That is what we see in a lot of people. That's what I see in, I don't want to go too far calling names, but there's a lot of people who will say, oh, I did this curse a long time ago on this person, and then she died, like a year or something later, and it was like I linked it to this. I felt like it was because, I did the curse, and no. Did you intend for that curse to kill her a year later? No. If you do a curse just for someone to die, that's quite petty. You do a curse to get the mental stability back within yourself that they have tried to take from you, to basically rob from you. Someone who takes advantage of a woman, or takes advantage of a man, who takes advantage with money, who takes advantage with anyone's kindness. When you see a homeless person get beat up for no reason on the side of the street, or attacked like I've seen here in recent times, there's no justification for that. I mean, the person, if he was mentally ill, didn't know he was beating up a homeless person, sure. The likelihood of that? No. To attack someone who's already down and out, that person does not deserve much mercy at all. Just doesn't. So do a destruction ritual every time you see someone like that? No, a destruction ritual or any ritual is a personal practice. It's personal magic. All magic should be very personal for the most part, unless you are doing magic that's being delivered out onto the earth or mankind as a whole, or wildlife, or nature, or the universe, or a specific group of gods or goddesses, or God or goddess, whatever. Otherwise, I mean, that can be personal as well. It's personal as well, but I'm saying that could be more of a announcement to the public. Whereas these three rituals: love, lust, sex, number one; compassion, respect is what I would call it; credibility, giving credibility where it's due, that'd be second ritual. These are both good. And then destruction ritual, number three, would be to mentally destroy someone who truly deserves their mind to be altered, because they have tried to do the same to you, and they have been nothing but a pain in your ass and been under your skin, and you have found no other way to handle it. If you look online, on social media, YouTube, everywhere, if someone thinks they have, most people, if they think they have a curse put on them, they already get a little loony. If they really believe in curses and they think they have a curse put on them, they're ready to spend $200, $300, maybe even thousands of dollars to get a curse taken off them. They're ready to go to the Catholic priest. They're calling in exorcisms. Usually ends up in murder. They lose their minds. They're throwing around, bay leaves and lighting, incense, and going around the house. Oh, we gotta get all these spirits out. They're all around me and haunting me. All because someone said, I cursed you, and made it sound believable. To make it sound very believable, it can really get in someone's head. That's why you have to be accountable for that action. If you insist on that action, you have to take accountability, and you have to understand that you're responsible. If you make that person lose their mind over it, sure, you can easily defend yourself by saying, well, they chose to lose their mind. But your intentions count. Now, I did read the sacrificing, the human sacrificing. That doesn't mean actually human sacrificing someone in a physical way. That is deleting someone who no longer serves you from your mind, from your heart, from your spirit, completely. You are putting them away. You are stoning them to death mentally. You're putting them out. Done. Does that mean you could ever change your mind? Of course. Because you're not actually killing them. You're killing the thought. You're killing the thought that has been killing you inside your mind and inside your heart. Whether this is an ex you can't get over, a friend that's done you wrong, a family member that's done you wrong. You destroy that past. And then you can move on and see the good things and put all that negativity to rest. Thank you.